As mentioned before, when one has developed samatha meditation, many kinds of thoughts and images from internal and external events appear in the mind. The various thoughts arise from the karmic seeds in the storehouse consciousness. They are called unexamined images. This means they are not actual external images, but just the appearances of things, images that arise in the mind. In Vipassana meditation, one analyzes these images to develop the conviction that they have no true existence of their own. In this method, the mind is turned inward. For example, one does not look at a pillar and think, well, this is a pillar, and it has no reality of its own, and so on. Instead, one examines whatever appears in the mind and sees that it has no existence of its own. What one needs in this meditation is discriminating knowledge, which allows one to see all things as distinct from each other. This is necessary because in meditation, one must be able to focus on particular objects without letting them become mixed, overlapping, vague, or unclear. There are good mental events and bad mental events. Some are continuously present in the mind, while others are transitory. In total, there are 51 mental events, including samadhi and prajna. The table in this book lists the 51 mental factors. Aside from the aggregates of sensation and perception, all other mental events are categorized under the aggregate of mental formations. These 51 mental events refer to the 51 mental factors. It is mental factors that create karma, perform actions, and form habitual patterns. This means that everyone has samadhi and prajna, but the degree of these two mental events differs among individuals. One must strengthen samadhi to make the mind more stable. The mental event of prajna is also present in everyone. The mental events mentioned here refer to the object-determining mental factors: desire, resolve, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. Do you know them? There are also the 5 universal mental factors: contact, attention, feeling, perception, and volition. The object-determining mental factors include samadhi and prajna because advanced concentration and wisdom constitute prajna. This is not the intelligence that understands worldly phenomena, although that may also be considered a kind of wisdom. Here, the wisdom refers to the highest insight that fully comprehends the true nature of all things. Hence, it is called prajna. Everyone has samadhi and prajna, but their degree varies from person to person. One must strengthen samadhi to make the mind more stable. Everyone has concentration. Whenever we understand something, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom are all at work. The mental event of prajna, wisdom, is also present in everyone, but it must be developed and increased with samadhi to give rise to a clear and definite understanding. Both qualities are needed to develop vipassana. Samadhi provides stability, and prajna enables one to analyze things in detail and understand them thoroughly. This paragraph discusses wisdom. The object-determining mental factors include concentration and wisdom. The concentration and wisdom of ordinary beings are not the same as the wisdom of non-self or the wisdom of emptiness. We now need to unlock this wisdom, which is innate in everyone. To attain liberation, we need to use these 5 object-determining mental factors for practice. First is aspiration or desire, the wish to understand the true nature of things. Then, through listening and contemplation, resolve arises. After that, apply mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. Everyone has this ability. They just don't know how to use it and haven't developed it. They can only focus briefly, lacking stable concentration. Their level of wisdom is low, limited to understanding in the worldly dimension. Additionally, the 51 mental factors include the 11 wholesome mental factors, the 6 root afflictions, the 20 secondary afflictions, and the 4 variable mental factors. In the compendium of the Abhidharma, Asanga says that Vipassana has both samadhi and prajna. There are 2 general kinds of phenomena, what is perceived, such as a sound, and what perceives. The 6th consciousness contains what is perceived. Thus, what is perceived in the mind is also classified as a percept. This refers to mental objects. There are 6 kinds of percepts: sight, sound, smell, taste, bodily sensations, and objects of the 6th consciousness, that is, the 6 sense objects. Internally, one has consciousness, which is the perceiver. For example, a visual object is perceived by visual consciousness. There are 5 sensory consciousnesses: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and a mental consciousness that discerns what is good or bad, remembers, and so on. Sometimes the mind focuses on external percepts. Their appearances are devoid of inherent existence. This is called the external indivisibility of appearance and emptiness. It means the non-duality of form and emptiness. Here, emptiness does not mean that there is no appearance, but that the nature of those appearances is empty. For example, when dreaming of an elephant, the elephant is empty in nature because it has no true reality. But if someone asked whether you dreamed of an elephant, you would say yes, showing that its appearance was present. Yet its actual nature is emptiness. An example of meditating on the internal perceiver is anger. When anger arises, one examines it not with ordinary understanding, but through discriminating knowledge, right view. One asks where it comes from or what its source is. This investigation concerns not "this person did this to me and that made me angry," but where the anger came from. One looks for its origin and current location. Is it inside the body, outside the body, or in between? One analyzes it with discriminating prajna, trying to discover its location and nature, what it is like, its colour, its shape. With awareness, one finds clarity in anger and its lack of inherent existence. Through discriminating knowledge, right view, one sees that it is the union of emptiness and awareness. This meditation method can also be used for the 6 principal mind poisons, afflictions. The first is anger, and the second is attachment to things such as food, wealth, and one's body. When one examines attachment in the same way as anger, one cannot find any reality and discovers that it is the union of emptiness and awareness. The third mind poison is pride, which sees oneself as superior to others. Upon closer examination, however, it is also the union of emptiness and awareness. The fourth mind poison is ignorance, which differs from the others because it does not arise vividly and is more pervasive. There are two kinds of ignorance: mixed ignorance and isolated ignorance. If ignorance accompanies another mind poison, such as anger, causing one to be unaware of the nature of the anger or fail to realize that one is about to make a mistake because of it, this is mixed ignorance. Isolated ignorance is not understanding the nature of phenomena. Upon closer examination, one finds that ignorance also has no solid reality and is the union of emptiness and awareness. The fifth mind poison is uncertainty, which means that whatever the mind focuses on, one cannot make a decision. There are two kinds of uncertainty: favourable, when one thinks something probably is, and unfavourable, when one thinks something probably isn't. In making a decision, a person with favourable uncertainty will think yes, while a person with unfavourable uncertainty will think no. Upon closer examination, this mind poison is also the union of emptiness and awareness. The sixth mind poison is the mistaken belief of I exist. When one examines it closely with discriminating knowledge, one finds it also has no reality and is the union of emptiness and awareness. Here, discriminating knowledge refers to the ability to analyze. In Vipassana meditation, one contemplates the mind poisons as the union of emptiness and awareness. One can also meditate on neutral thoughts, which are neither good nor bad. There are two kinds of neutral thoughts: creative neutral thoughts, such as I want to make dinner, and neutral thoughts of activity, such as I must leave or I want to eat. These thoughts are neutral, but one can examine them to see who is thinking I want to eat and where this thought is located. One then discovers that neutral thoughts have no inherent nature and are the union of emptiness and awareness. One therefore examines the internal understanding of the indivisibility of emptiness and awareness, as well as the external understanding of the indivisibility of emptiness and appearance. This statement says that the non-duality of awareness and emptiness is an inner understanding. Emptiness refers to the lack of inherent nature in things. Meanwhile, one examines the non-duality of appearance and emptiness as an outer understanding. With discriminating knowledge, one recognizes this indivisibility and also sees that this knowledge has no inherent reality. Thus, the mind rests in the understanding of the nature of the percept and the perceiver. For example, in the past, people rubbed two sticks together to make a fire. When the fire started, it burned up the two sticks as well. In the same way, the understanding of the indivisibility of emptiness and awareness, and of emptiness and appearance, is also empty in nature. A teacher's practice instructions say that the mind of the past has ceased, and the mind of the future has not yet arisen. The present mind is difficult to examine because it has no colour, shape, or location. It is like space, unborn, neither one entity nor multiple entities. Even though it is empty, the clarity of mind never ceases. There is this continuous clarity of mind. The mind never becomes blank or like a stone. It won't cease into nothingness. One also cannot locate where this clarity comes from, for this is the mind's inherent quality. The meditational state of Vipassana is described as having no appearances, which means one realizes that the inseparability of emptiness and appearance has no inherent reality. Despite this emptiness, there is the unceasing clarity of mind, which has no intrinsic existence. Hence, the mind in meditation is free from any complications or elaborations. It is not existent nor non-existent. It is not neither existent nor non-existent, or both existent and non-existent. It is free from these four complications. The four complications refer to what the middle way school calls the four extremes: existence, non-existence, both existence and non-existence, and neither existence nor non-existence. To see the ultimate reality, one must eradicate these four views. It is neither created nor something that ceases. It has no birth or death, because if it existed, it must have been born, begun to exist, and if it is born, it must also die, cease to exist. In that case, it would inevitably come to an end. If something truly exists, it must have been born, so when did it begin to arise? One cannot say it has existed since beginningless time. If there is birth, there must be death. But there is nothing there to be born or to die. Through this realization, one can eliminate the defects of dullness and agitation in meditation. With these removed, there is no clinging. The mind does not think, this is good and must be kept, and this is bad and must be rejected. This is what Vipassana meditation means. This is the meditation of the middle way, which is deeper and distinct from the meditation on non-self we discussed earlier. With the insight of non-self, we shall counteract afflictions, including the 6 root afflictions. Using wisdom, we can observe where the afflictions arise and where they go, reflecting on their emptiness to counteract them. Where do afflictions come from? They arise from emptiness and return to emptiness. There is no self. It is not the self that gives rise to afflictions, nor is it the self that becomes angry. Therefore, from now on, never say, I'm so angry, because there is no I or anger. They are all illusory.